Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 37 through 38 of RuYi's Royal Love. Seventh prince is dead. The Empress is devastated, of course, and refuses to even eat. When her daughter comes to comfort her, she says some really hurtful things about how useless a daughter is in comparison to a son.
你还有女儿呢？
女儿有什么用？
I mean, I know you're hurting about your child, but she's also your child. Actually, I'd like to take a minute to talk about what a terrible job the Empress is doing raising her daughter, Jingse. Jingse is the third princess. She's actually the Empress's second daughter, but her first daughter, who was the first princess, died. When Jingse first hears about Chun having a daughter, the fourth princess, she makes an offhand remark that no matter what other princesses are born, she is on another level since she's the daughter of an empress and an emperor.
公主和公主也是不一样的呀。儿臣是皇阿玛和皇阿娘的女儿。
This is absolutely true, but the Empress is clearly enjoying and encouraging this kind of arrogance when it should be something that's known but not acknowledged. It's like a rich kid telling all his classmates that his parents make more than theirs do. Yeah, Caleb, we know, but shut up about it. Then, Jingse mentioned wanting a sister, and the Empress lost it.
不许胡说，皇额娘给你生的一定是个弟弟。
是。
Again, yes, sons are absolutely worth more than daughters, but what kind of message do you think you're sending to your daughter here? And now this.
女儿连雪中送炭的那点炭火都比不上，不过是聊胜于无罢了。
Jingse grows up to be a pretty shitty person, and her mom is 53% of the reason why. The emperor arranges for a trip to the east, but since the empress is so weak, he and her doctors suggest that she stay behind. The empress decides that if she doesn't have a son, she must at least be a strong empress. She insists on coming along despite her ill health. She definitely wouldn't be pushing herself so hard were she not afraid of RuYi slowly taking over her spot. With all this in mind, she definitely doesn't have time to parent Jingse. With her attitude completely unchecked, Jingse becomes more and more arrogant and outright rude to our noble consorts, RuYi and Chun.
你们不过是妾室而已，一定要悉心服侍皇阿娘。
景色。
The emperor isn't helping either with that weak reprimand. It's pretty wild how just being the child of these two puts you at a higher ranking than your elders, your stepmothers in a sense. In the royal family, legitimacy is everything. The empress should have taken the emperor's advice. When she takes the makeup off, it's clear that all this traveling is taking a toll. She's also taking a million meds so she can seem healthier than she is. The reason for this trip east is the emperor needs to meet with the leaders of the Mongol clans here. They have technically submitted to Qing dynasty rule, but they have their own rulers and things kind of stay stable with the Qing dynasty turning a blind eye to some things, sending gifts sometimes, and intermarriages that say, "We respect you, you're worthy to marry our daughters." That time has come, and the emperor will need to arrange a marriage for the Korchin clan's crown prince. The Korchin Mongols are the richest and most influential clan. They were the first clan to submit to the Qing dynasty, which is why they were so heavily rewarded. They refused to accept anyone but a true royal princess, and to deny them that would probably start yet another fight. Which means the only options are his little sister, Heng Ti, and of course the empress's daughter, Jingse. Chun has a daughter too, but she's only 2. Whoever marries this prince will have to move out here, and considering it's been well over a decade since the family last made the trip, it's safe to say that they won't be seeing their mother often. The empress, of course, pushes for Heng Ti to get married, and to be fair, Heng Ti is older than Jingse. The problem is, Heng Ti's older sister Heng Chuo was also married to a faraway clan, and the emperor is worried that losing both of her daughters will be too much for the Empress Dowager. Or, more honestly, worried about the hissy fit she's gonna throw. The empress, of course, has her trump card. She literally just lost her son. Mei eavesdrops on the whole conversation and reports back to the Empress Dowager because that's her job, she's a spy.
果然听见皇后一心护着自己的女儿，想把您的横体长公主远嫁到蒙古去。
And to add one more thing to this mess of a situation, the Empress Dowager really does not like Jingse because of her nasty attitude.
她不是老是自诩为嫡出公主吗？那就该让她尽尽嫡公主的职责。
See what I was saying earlier, Empress? You should have taught this girl some humility. Nobody likes her. Both the Empress and the Empress Dowager begin to use their loyal consorts to plead on their behalfs. A few people have wondered why powerful women like the Empress and the Empress Dowager would want to plant women in the Emperor's bed. And this is it. Times like this. The Emperor can avoid his mom, but not every single woman in the harem. In the Empress's camp, it's pretty much just Jia. Hui would have been a big help, but she's dead. The Empress Dowager has Mei, Shu, and Qing, who's so irrelevant that I haven't even bothered to add her to the harem list, plus a bunch of officials in the government. In the neutral camp are Chun, RuYi, and by extension Hailan, and then Yanwan and Wan simply because they're not well liked enough to even be useful. Mei is more than happy to give the Empress another blow and goes above and beyond. Shu is not as willing to plead for the Empress Dowager's cause. The poor girl is actually in love with the Emperor, so even when the Empress Dowager tells her to speak up for her, she sees the Emperor and thinks, "Aw, he looks so tired, I don't want to make him any more upset," and doesn't say a word. How terrifying is the Empress Dowager's maid? Anyway, the Empress Dowager brought Shu to the palace exactly for situations like this, so she does not find the love story cute.
你倒是体贴皇帝呀，怎么不体贴体贴哀家？
But Shu can't help it, she's head over heels. Which makes it all the more sad that he's secretly giving her those contraceptives. The Empress Dowager and the Empress even try to convince each other directly, which goes about as well as you would expect. This is definitely a top 3 confrontation scene. The quips are amazing. My favorite points are the Empress Dowager saying, "All the palace kids are your kids, so you'll be fine," and the Empress hitting back with a, "You still live with your son, so you'll be fine." They are so good at dancing around what they want to say but striking when they need to. The Empress Dowager really knows how to hit where it hurts though.
这是贤贵妃成了横提的皇嫂，不知道会不会多体谅哀家呀？
Neither one will back down, and I feel like this is the first time we've seen the Empress so sharp.
好，不愧是哀家自己挑选的儿媳。
儿臣多谢皇额娘的夸奖。
Things start getting really heated between them with more direct insults and threats, and finally the night ends with a stalemate. RuYi tries to stay neutral for as long as she can, but finally goes to see the Empress Dowager. She has figured out how to resolve the issue. She knows that one unspoken worry the Emperor has about this whole situation is that marrying off both of the Empress Dowager's daughters to the most powerful Mongol clans gives her a lot of political power. The Emperor is coming into his own now and doesn't want his mother meddling where she shouldn't, which is why RuYi advises the Empress Dowager to pretend that she has been convinced and now strongly supports her daughter getting married. This will make it seem like she wants the power her daughter's marriage will bring, and no doubt cause the Emperor to get suspicious and consider marrying Jingse off instead. The Emperor and his mother are close, but the Emperor took the throne at such a young age that he's always felt like she had more power than she should. Not to mention, with the Empress Dowager saying she wants to marry her daughter off, the Empress's family will no doubt be like, "Wait, is this a good thing? Then we want it," and start pressuring the Empress to marry Jingse off. It's a very well thought out reverse psychology plan and a testament to how observant and intelligent RuYi is.
冰雪聪慧。
The whole thing works exactly as planned, and the Emperor officially decides to marry off Jingse. Am I a sucker if I actually feel bad for the Emperor here? It's a tough decision between his daughter and his sister, and I think even without the pressure from his mother and wife, he would be tormented trying to choose between the two of them. In a sense, he's the only one not being selfish here. While the Empress and the Empress Dowager are busy thinking about themselves, he's thinking about the whole country. It does kind of crack me up that the Empress Dowager puts so much effort into Mei and Shu, but they're both useless. Mei is willing but not subtle enough. Shu is perfect but not willing. And then she knows RuYi can help her, but she doesn't want to ask because of her pride. Like, if RuYi didn't come and see her, she would just stew in her palace forever, I guess. Anyway, I suppose it all worked out for her. As for the Empress, I only want bad things for her, and her daughter is a conceited little shit, so really, this is a perfect ending in my book. Smell you later, Jingse. And now for a look at the book. Believe it or not, the Empress is even meaner to Jingse in the novel. The dialogue is pretty much the same, but the vibe is pretty different because the Empress isn't sad and mopey, she's coldly and viciously attacking the third princess. After Jingse says that as her daughter, she will support her no matter what, this is the Empress's reaction. Hearing this, the Empress opened her eyes in a flash, sitting up with a bit of effort. She looked He Jing up and down. He Jing had never seen such an expression in her mother's eyes. She was terrified and couldn't help but lower her gaze under the Empress's withering gaze. The Empress sneered coldly. Daughter? What use is a daughter? Totally different vibe, right? Surprisingly, there aren't many more scenes of these two in the novel than there are in the drama, but the scenes that are there are usually more deliberately mean than accidental. Till next time, thanks for watching.